Perfect. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for March's chapter leadership development. Today, we're just following up with NAWIC 101 and kind of just going along with our series. Last month, we had kind of board review again. We did that in October. So we've done parliamentarian procedures and also strategic plans. So today, we are going to go over our NAWIC national committee. So I thought no better than to have Vice President Jody Wimmerslag join us, as she plays a pivotal role in our national committees and can explain them probably a lot better than I can. But so I'm super excited, and thank you, Jody, for joining us. We do have, this is also mainly these meetings and monthly webinars are for interaction to provide the resource and to provide, just an opportunity for a Q&A. If anybody had any questions, to get to know us, to know where your chapter development chairs and co-chairs are, and just to give you the opportunity to have your voice and the questions answered in monthly setting, just in case we don't have the opportunity to talk one-on-one or get the chance. And I always think it's best when we can learn from each other. When other people are doing things, we've all gone through some sort of the same thing, and how did we handle that, or what's going on in the East Coast compared to maybe the West Coast, so we can just all kind of piggyback and tie off, and learn from one another. So with that, we're going to jump in. And again, Jody, you could probably introduce yourself a lot better than I can. But I want to again introduce Jody Wimmerslaw, who is our national vice president and working closely with our national committees. Um, and we'll go from there. So just going on the agenda. So today we're talking about committees. Next month we will talk about chapter finances, kind of get you mid-year prepped for your audit committees to see where you guys are standing, halfway in the year, and to kind of start planning for next year. Followed by bylaws, standing rules, policies. That's a fun one. You don't Let me see, put my phone on mute. Then followed by the national forms, deadlines, national leadership and staff. That's when, our elections obviously are coming up. So you'll have new directors in some regions, new officers. So it's maybe a chance that we could get everybody on the call, maybe meet us or see where, NAWIC is heading into the next year. And then, obviously we always have resources available. So I will turn it over to you, Jody. And also, please, ladies, utilize the chat. We'll be monitoring that. So if you have any questions in between, please just raise your hand in the reactions and we will look at that as well as look at the chat. So this is a total interactive, webinar. So please join in.
Yeah, so thank you, Shauna, and thank you for assisting here today and all of your leadership training that you're doing. It's been a sincere pleasure working with you this year, and I look forward to the years to come. So again, yep, my name is Jody. I am honored to be serving as our national vice president this year. I am a project manager for Hunt Electric Corporation, and I am based in Rochester, Minnesota. My home chapter is Southeast Minnesota, chapter 346. And so, yeah, I'm really excited that Shauna had said, hey, let's talk about committees and what that looks like and what that means, moving forward within your own chapters and agendas as we go. So as you can see, just, basics, the definition of a committee, it's a group of people appointed for a specific function, typically consisting of members of a larger group. And then the president may create such other committees as she deems necessary for the better execution of her duties and the goals of the chapter. Some things I can say about that, I know from time to time in my community, we have had different things going on that we wanted to be a part of. For example, through our Rochester area builders, they would put on programs um, uh, that we would get involved with that we needed more than just the board to take care of organizing and getting things together. So a committee was formed and they would do those projects, and whether we keep those committees moving forward or not, that is kind of up to the president at her discretion and how she feels she wants to move forward with it. One example, one event was called STEAM, and we would have a booth that we would set up at a local college, and there were high school students that came through. We did it for a few years and then decided that we just couldn't keep up with that. And so the committee was retired, and those things are okay to do. The chapter president appoints all committee chairs. And appoints is kind of a big word. A lot of times we have members who raise their hands to do it, and which always is so nice. We always want to be out there to help our chapter presidents. So if there's something that you feel like you have a passion for or want to be a part of, please make sure you talk to her and see if there's a place that she can appoint you to be a lead on. And then our bylaws provide that chapter president is an ex-official member of the committees except the nominating committee, and when she cannot serve in any capacity. So a lot of times I know even in my chapter, our chapter president likes to be involved in what we're doing in our committees. So she often will join our meetings and whatnot just to hear what's going on and give any input ideas. And we typically ask her what her thoughts are and what we've got going on. So next slide. So we do have standing committees, and these are given to us by our national uh, board. So we've got three of them. Our finance committee, well, not three, we've got a couple more than that, but finance committee reviews the finances of the chapter. This includes responsibilities of both budgeting and auditing every year. It is recommended that the outgoing treasurer and president, along with the incoming treasurer and president, serve on this committee. And it can also consist of the whole board. I can tell you one nice thing that our finance committee does in our chapter is that they will do not only the kickoff of our budgeting, they also kind of give us a mid-year review of how things are going, if we're going over in certain things, or even if there's extra monies that we're finding that maybe we can move some things around. It's a huge support for the treasurer and the president, along with the board and our chapter, to have that committee person that's also kind of watching out for how things are going and the health of our association. Membership is definitely the recruiters for NAWIC. They're responsible for communicating with, expected guests, welcoming visitors, post-meeting follow-up for visitors, distribution of welcome information when new members join. They also develop and facilitate incentive programs that will encourage visitors to our meetings and new members to join. Our membership committee, whenever we have a new member that joins, they reach out to that person and they've got kind of a list of questions that they ask them. Where do you work? What do you do? What are your hobbies? Just some of those things. And they put together a really nice email correspondence to membership saying, hey, welcome, Alyssa, she joins us from DSW, and we always give like a LinkedIn connection or whatever else we can. And that gives the members an opportunity to have their email, reach back out and just say, hey, welcome, I'm glad you're here. hope to see you at the next meeting, whatever that may be. I can give you one little tip. One of our things our membership committee does is they keep track of our guests that come in. If there's a member that brings a guest, typically their lunch is covered, the guest and the member, which is kind of a nice incentive to get people to come to events. And then we have our professional development and education, PD&E committee, and they develop the calendar for the chapter's monthly program each year, which includes planning for speakers, educators, leadership, special skills, sessions, tours, etc. And so this is really a very unique committee that definitely assists the president in her goals for the year. We should be, I'm sorry, did you have a question, Shauna?
I did. I'll wait till you're done with this slide. I was just gonna give 2 cents.
Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm sorry I split my screen, so I
Nope, don't worry.
yeah, so this one's really important. I know that when I served as president, I was very young in my NAWIC career, and I felt the duty of making sure that we had the calendar and everything put together and doing all the correspondence. And I just didn't realize that we could have this position and lean on somebody else to help with that, while I could concentrate on some other things. And it's definitely a wonderful marriage that works very, very well. And the nice thing about it too with PD&E, on a chapter level, we have resources on the regional level and on the national level. If we're ever struggling, looking for things, looking for speakers, webinars, whatnot, we've got places that we can reach to help fill any spaces or gaps that we think we're feeling. So, Shauna, tell me what your thoughts are.
Oh no, I was, you know how when you hear it and then it's like, oh yeah. So I was just kind of two things on like membership, and again, every chapter is different. So like our membership chair, they'll do our installations. So we do an installation for every new member that joins. And I think it's really important also to have your membership chairs, especially right now when our NAWIC dates have all changed. It's so they need to kind of keep in touch with who are our current members, what establishes our quorum, who's active, who's not active, associate, and so forth. So they're vital to the membership and our numbers. But exactly, just reaching out. Maybe the membership chairs are also could be responsible for getting that when they install the new member or have a new member, have them partner up with a more seasoned member so they stay connected, and that really will help with your retention numbers as well. And then piggybacking off, yeah, the professional development. Um, in our chapters, we do like, and even going back to the finance, like a kind of like an August planning meeting where we'll come up with like our budgets, get the general membership input and go over, what speakers do we want? Who knows who? We have, who has a job site tour maybe coming up. So it's a whole collaborative effort. So it might not just be, that one person might be the chair of it, but it does, it takes a village, right, to have everybody be successful. So don't get too much tied up in, just the one chair and they have to come up with everything because it does take all of us to collaborate with information. That was it.
100%. Thank you. So the next slide, Savannah. But I also wanted to say too, one of our standing committees also is DE&I. And that one as well is so very important, to our everyday lives, our not only our the chapters, but also to our employers. And so that committee does a lot of work with diversity and inclusion and education and legislation and all of those things that are so important and so relevant to what we are working on and expanding on every day in our work lives, not only in the construction industry, but throughout the world in every industry. So that is another, it's a newer a standing committee that has been adopted at NAWIC. Special committees, and like we say here, these are typical in line with national, our bylaws, emerging professionals, DE&I, here we go, WIC week, marketing, safety and health, strategic planning, sustainability, and tradeswomen. These are all very, very important. NEF, Block Kids, design drafting, fundraising, liaison, NFSF with our scholarships, and then others are fundraising, social media, and communication. And honestly, these can be titled in many, many different things. Whereas your social media maybe would be part of your marketing, and then your strategic planning, that could be, something that your board handles. So there's so many different ways and different things to look at it. And what NAWIC, typically as a whole, we just try to put, excuse me, ideas out there for everybody to think about when they, are working on their chapters and some of the things that they want to do. So yeah, these are some other committees that you can think about. One thing that we brought back to our chapter after it had been retired for a while, we call it our Sunshine Committee. And that committee actually is the one who is looking for, those who are maybe in need, maybe there's been a passing in their family, maybe there's been a promotion or, just something that's been going on. And we always try to, drop a card, send some flowers, give a little, phone call, give a little bump or whatever we can do. And that committee is so successful, and the women that are involved in it definitely are a welcome wagon. And we appreciate everything that they do. And it's one of those committees that newer members seem to hop on pretty quick because they like to be involved in the fun. So other NAWIC committees are standing committees, bylaws, diversity, equity, and inclusion, finance, membership, professional development and education, and strategic planning. These are all very important to the work and the business of what we do, kind of the nuts and bolts of that benefit that we get out of NAWIC and that professional development that we all are searching for, and the mentorship that we need. And having these committees really just gives a focus group, if you will, of like-minded women that will get together and, provide resources and develop ideas for different meetings and whatnot. Shauna, did you have?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I know we're going over like the committees, but I'm thinking, as we're going over this, maybe some chapters they're not thinking like, so you have our national committees and then it ties down to, our regional committees and then follows on with the chapters. I'm wondering maybe if we could get a little like a if Savannah, can you go back one more slide? I'm just trying to think out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, backwards, the other way. Yep. Just thinking like, well, what does the standing committees, what do they do? Or the bylaws? Maybe do we have like a little commercial? Does that make sense? I'm just to share with, maybe the members that are on this call that might not have an
Yeah.
idea, like, like even in our chapter, we don't really have a bylaws committee. But how can, what do they do that maybe we need to know about, or what's their role?
So the bylaws, yes. So the bylaws committee, what they do is we really, on a chapter level, should be reviewing our bylaws every year. And within those bylaws, it also incorporates even our standing rules. So our bylaws are what are sent from top down, and they've got just, the basic things that we have to do to operate under NAWIC rule. And so we adopt those bylaws year after year. And then, we also have to incorporate any changes that NAWIC would bring forth on the national level to certain bylaws, bylaws 1 through 7. For those of you that have been around a little bit while, those are the ones that chapters have to adopt. I can tell you that in my chapter, we have a typical that we follow, that our vice president is always the chair of our bylaws committee. That gives her the opportunity to read through them, know them, be able to talk about them, gives her the education that will hopefully give her that extra confidence that she's going to need when she eventually steps up to that president role. We just thought that was a very natural progression to happen, would be that, the president would allocate the bylaws chair to be the vice president. They meet, they talk, they go over verbiage, they just try to make sure everything is up to date and in line. That person also would be the one that would share the bylaws with our regional directors, and then also our national bylaws chair when required. The regions go every other year. It would be so when you have a new director coming in, your bylaws are due to the national chair. But still, that doesn't mean that you should not be reviewing them year after year. Did I cover that one okay, Shauna?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And, so many, I think it's, you have bylaws, you have guidelines, you have standing rules, you have policies. What the heck is the difference between them all? So join us next month when we have, hopefully, I could get Catherine to do a fabulous job and explain all the differences and why they're important. And I think we have stressed on these monthly, webinars, review the, chapter C, section C of the bylaws, because they're not just important to the president, they're important to, all the members. Just to know how, your chapter runs, what should they be doing? Why should they be doing it? And, just to give you, it's like the little Bible to give you the background. So I can't stress enough, go on to the NAWIC manual, section C, and just take a review. And that will, kind of help answer a lot of questions as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then to spin right into diversity, equity, and inclusion, DE&I, this committee really is about education, and it's about finding resources for people, explaining how things work, bringing things to relevant terms. And I think this committee is so important in so many ways, just to help be a leader. And of course, I've had people say, well, isn't NAWIC DE&I anyways? I mean, we are all women and we're here, and we kind of fall into that class. But I feel that diversity, equity, and inclusion is so much broader than that. And like I had said previously, it doesn't affect just our industry, it affects every industry. And having that committee, to be a resource for that is wonderful. I don't think that DE&I committees are as populated in the chapter world, but they definitely are on the region and the national level. And I know that DE&I, they have several webinars that they have meetings that they hold. And all of those events can be found on the website that you can sign up for, be a part of, listen in, and pull something from each one. What do you think, Shauna?
I absolutely agree. Absolutely. You did it great. And just to, all of these committees, they do have chairs for each one of them. So go on to the NAWIC website. and if you have any other questions, you could always reach out to the chapter chairs or the national chairs and ask follow up with them as well.
Absolutely. And then again, just to talk again about finance, we talked about it a little bit earlier. The finance committee really is the one who, in my opinion, helps, with the budget, helps make sure that, they're assisting the treasurer, of anything, and being a part of the audit. Really, it is one of those committees that works behind the scenes. And, people, this is a good place, even if you're not necessarily working in any type of finance role within, your career. That doesn't mean that you're not suited to do something like this and learn and give some of that outside influence that you may see. And so for me, yeah, it's definitely one of those important committees that really helps keep the board up to date on what's happening and, provides that communication between the committees and the board, with some of the finances and the different things that they need to make their committees and their events successful as we go. Shauna, what do you think on that one?
You're doing great.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, and we
yeah.
did touch base on, your finance, your membership,
Mm-hmm.
PD&E. So, and I think, just reiterating that they do have, every region should have a regional chair. So, whether they're doing contests right now or distributing information from what the national membership chair to the regional to the chapter, I think a lot of it is just tying in these committees with the communication and knowing, what's going on, how can they, when any that, these are, I think, for also when the chapters are struggling, when it's like we don't have the speaker, where do we find them? Then you can go and reach out to your national chairs to give you those resources and the help needed, or a membership idea. What is the goal right now? How many members do we have? Where's the nearest chapter near me? um,
Mm-hmm.
so forth. So I, just want to, hopefully the members all know that there are so many resources out there and members helping and available.
Absolutely. And same, we really we touch base on membership and what that looks like to be a part of that committee. Professional development, education, again, that committee is very pivotal about making a successful year for their chapter, through meeting ideas, speaker opportunities, things like that. And then strategic planning is one of my favorite. We usually pull together our board and all of our committee chairs. We get together. We make our event a day-long event. There's other chapters that do full weekend retreats. So make sure that if you're a strategic plan chair, you get that in your budget. But really, it's a time to, focus on what your chapter is up to, what's going on, what you're doing, and then to make sure that everybody's working towards those goals. And then, as far as on the national side of that, that's exactly what they do is, the strategic planning chair really is the person and, and the people with their committee, they guide our board into, how we develop our goals, how we meet those goals, where we're at. It's always exciting to see when we start our year and then we get to mid-year and the thoughts that we had when we started are oftentimes very different than where we're at mid-year. And we often forget at mid-year that, we're setting these big audacious goals. And that's what, we're striving for. So strategic planning is definitely, a part of NAWIC. It should be a part of your personal lives, whether it be a vision board or whatever that may look like. But then it also, you can bring those skills back to your company and what their future focus is. So, very, very important committee.
Yeah, and I was just on a call last night with our three candidates running for our director in our region. And I couldn't stress enough. And, being a NAWIC member for 28 years and being a past director and having had stepped away for a little bit and then coming back now as your NAWIC secretary. And I'm sure you can vouch, Jody, that these board meetings are no joke. NAWIC is not, when you're in a committee or doing just a role that you're, whether it's in your chapter, regional, or on a national level. I mean, to me, it's like a job. I mean, it is a job, right? And it's almost more than a regular job. But I encourage you all to, I think it's excellent that our president Kelly has opened up the board meetings so anybody can audit them and hear what's going on and taking place. It's super exciting. And exactly, just seeing in my short time, from being on the board, from where we were in December to where we are right now, huge difference. So, ladies, take advantage of, being an audit on the board meeting and just getting familiar with what your NAWIC um, team is doing. And, whether it's the committees or anybody, it's really, interesting and super fun and super educational just to see the planning that's being taken place.
So true. You can go to the next one. Okay, so yeah, so other committees that we've been forming on the national level definitely are Camp NAWIC, which is a new one, working with our national chair, Kelly. She actually developed a Camp NAWIC handbook that is out there on the website. For those of you that are interested, we are planning to have an informational webinar with her coming up soon, and are going to share, her resources with all the regional directors here in April. And so this one is a fun one. This is something that is NAWIC based. It's not NAF and it's not any other association. This is ours. And it is something that a lot of chapters have been doing for a very long time. But then there's a lot of chapters that are just very interested in it. And really what it looks like is it's basically, um, uh, a gathering of younger gals that get together and they learn about the trades, whether that be about engineering, whether that be about concrete, whether that be electrical, and always safety first. And so there's always that's put in there, but there are several chapters out there that do a great job. I really encourage you to get out on YouTube and search it out and see what the events have been. And it's very exciting. So this is another great committee if your chapter decides that they want to get involved in something like that, or if your region is considering even having a regional chair. But we do have a national chair set up right now. They have a web page, or they have a page on our website, and there's definitely more information to share. Emerging professionals is definitely another one that is very awesome. It's growing. Danielle, who's our chair this year, our national chair, has been doing some great things. You're going to see coming up at your forums. She's got a coffee and conversation set up. She's in her budget, gave some funds to the regions to get together and just talk about what it means to be an emerging professional in our industry. And emerging professionals doesn't necessarily mean young in age, but young in our industry and young in our careers. One of the great things that this committee actually moved forward this year with is they're going to have on our membership applications and renewals a checkbox for how many years have you been in the industry. This will give NAWIC the opportunity to track those people and provide additional resources and connections that will help them. And that's what our core purpose is at NAWIC, is to, provide those resources for women. I don't know, Shauna, do you have any input on either one of those two?
I don't. I think I like that idea of just getting, because I think data is important in certain areas. And I think that
Mhm.
will be a huge one. And I think, just finding those members within your chapter and, again, going back to like membership, engaging them with maybe somebody, a seasoned member, somebody maybe that, they might have in common that can help each other, be able to grow and be that role model and for them to be successful, not only in NAWIC, but in their, role in the industry. I think that's important for the chapters to do with the e
Absolutely, absolutely. And really, honestly, emerging professionals, I think it could have a side note there, even of mentorship, right? And that's, where some of us, that's why we join NAWIC is to find that mentor, and that we are often encouraged to do, whether through a life coach, a manager, or somebody else, find those mentors, that can bring you forward. And then the Legislative Industry Issues Committee, again, that's another newer one that we've brought forward on the national level. We do have a chair and co-chair. They're brand new. They are developing their webpage too. I don't know, Savannah, if that's actually up and running yet or not.
Yes, it is. There's not too much on it right now, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, wonderful. And I know they've set up some pretty regular meetings that should be on the event calendar that you can always register for and call in and listen to. And it could be just, a meeting. Maybe they're not giving a whole lot of information, but they're brainstorming and collaborating and, just talking about the issues that we have in our industry that women face every day. One of the ones that our chair is specifically looking at is menopause for women in the construction industry and what that looks like, and how we navigate those things. So it's a very interesting new committee. I can just say, full disclosure, we are a nonpartisan group of women, but we also have the ability to help move that needle forward on some things. And we do have our OSHA Alliance, and we do have a voice and we do have a seat at the table. So I think just being up to date on what's happening with everything. One of the biggest ones now too, is DE&I, and how is that going to affect us, as being, women in our roles. So something definitely to watch for. We're learning, and hopefully that'll be another resource for statistics and whatnot moving forward. And then, our marketing committee, they're here to help our regions, help our chapters, make sure we're following our guidelines, our logo guidelines and whatnot. And then also a resource just to help put our best foot forward, whether that be getting them, a flyer, a logo or something, or giving ideas and, how to best use social media, how to best use LinkedIn, how to really get your chapter out there, and even yourself. So that marketing committee is very strong and fun. I know that they work very hard. There are some handbooks that are recently being reviewed by national, and how we can, share information. Shauna, what do you think of those two?
I think they're great. I was just going to hold on. Pull up, because I mean, if you haven't already, NAWIC
Mm-hmm.
has a great brochure just to keep, in your purse, anything when you're in that elevator and they're like, what's NAWIC? But they also have cute postcards. The NAWIC office is always, like, here's 10, get them shipped to your house. So you always have that marketing material. But I mean, I absolutely love, like, this is just a revamp of the NAWIC value brochure that tells you how old I am, but I love it. And I just think it's really cool just to, because some of us are old school and we want that paper, but they do have some really great marketing tools. And the marketing committee always has fabulous ideas. And I think the branding has really taken off to where we're all in sync and it's really just, the straight focus where it's not, all this around all over the page. So kudos to the marketing committee. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Tracy is a great model to be on that flyer.
Yeah.
And then also our other committee, we do have safety and health. This is another great one that, just focuses on, women and what it looks like to be on a job site, to be in an office, to be mentally stable. And again, we have, a web page on our website for this too. Um, I don't know that every chapter necessarily has a safety and health committee, but I do believe that our regions, provide resources along with national. And I know, Shauna, why don't you talk a little bit about the toolbox talks that you helped with?
So yeah, I think they're still, I know they were sent to the chairman and I think they're still getting reviewed to put up on the website. But I know the current chair just did it also in the connection, a topic where it was in English and Spanish. So they're starting to be like they want, and if I understand this right, the committee, I mean, it's like NAWIC wants that one-stop shop. It's like, here's our safety stuff. Where's that toolbox topic that we can easily grab or help somebody that might need a certain topic and have it easily accessible. So yeah, so we are developing all of those cool things. I know also on their page, there's a bunch of videos of safety topic related, I think toolgate topics. So definitely take a look at that. But I think it's really going to be taking off. And also going back to the legislative industry, I know Nicole is the new chair. She is freaking amazing. So I know it's like brand new, so hang tight because I really think that's going to be some very valuable, pertinent information. And I'm super excited to see where that's going to, be taken off to.
I agree 100%, and then we have our chapter development, and then a subcommittee of chapter development is our chapter leadership. Um, and so this committee really kind of developed when I was a director at the time. We just saw the real need to have a committee set forth that can not only help chapters charter throughout the country, but also help them grow. There are times that we have chapters that are really struggling, and maybe we just need to do some sort of event to engage some more people and to get, different activities going on or what that may be. And then, we saw the need of that to also have chapter leadership. And that's where Shauna comes in and thrives at what she does. And, she offers training to anybody who's looking for it, needs it. She also has, regular webinars and things that she's doing similar to this one, but she's also available, more on a personal level for the chapters if they wanted to just, set aside some special time and really review, do a deep dive on certain issues that they're having and things that they need more leadership on. And so really, I'm not going to do this one justice like you are, Shauna. So why don't you kind of tell what that looks like?
Well, thank you, Jody. You said it so nicely.
Oh.
So yeah, this is kind of what, we are underneath the chapter development, which the development section of it is like on a roll with so many chapters wanting to get chartered. So somebody reaches out, we have this area that we want, to start a chapter. So that they are so busy in itself and the need for then come along with the chapter leadership. It's a lot. So you have regional chairs that I work with and that are in every region, hopefully, and some don't have it. So then I try to work with all the presidents and, just to give them, any kind of tools and resources available to help guide them. If anybody has any questions, I'm glad you touched base, Jody, on the one on one because I think that's where I love it. Send me an email. What questions do you have? Where can I answer them? Where can I find the answers? that I will try to get you and help you. I mean, really, we're the resource. We're here to give you any kind of tools. How do I do a meeting? Where's the agendas? Who needs to be on the board? When do I need to do this? Just so you have these tools where you never want to go into a position where it's like, I don't know what to do. Is that going to be the case? Yes, maybe, but we're here to help it not be the case and to be able to make it a little bit more comfortable and streamline the process. So no matter where we are at or where you're at, there is always a person we can connect you with.
Absolutely, 100%. And all of these committees, I know at annual conference in Boston, these committees are going to be available. We are going to have a booth in the trade show center that committees will be there and available, or you can leave information, pick up information. And I know that the chapter leadership one is definitely very sought after, because we never know everything, and we can always use a little hand here or there, or maybe it's even just sharing some news, some ideas that chapter leadership can work on or incorporate into what we're putting out there in trainings. So the next one. Sustainability, absolutely. This is another one, a fairly new committee that was created within NAWIC. I hope that you are finding their events on the NAWIC website. They talk about everything under the sun. Is that a cliche? I'm sorry. But really, it is a very unique committee with a niche of folks that have so much information to share and excitement about, how we build future forward. I know that I've been lucky enough to get incorporated with what is called Building Intelligence Group, and just about, how to build buildings smarter. That the end user has a better experience, leaves a lean footprint, and really makes a difference in our communities and our lives. But the sustainability group definitely has a lot of information to share, and they're growing. I know that, on a chapter level, maybe we don't have those committees or even regions, but definitely at the national level we do. And again, their events are on the event page. Savannah helps us make sure that we communicate all of that information, and they are definitely one to watch and learn from. And so I'm really excited about how things have been moving with that. And of course, our tradeswomen. Our tradeswomen committee definitely has blown up. We've got a lot of women that are involved in it and excited about it. This year we're hoping to award and honor a tradeswoman, from NAWIC, and the things that she continues to do in leadership and whatnot, as boots on the ground. And that one has been a very important one and near and dear to me. I joined the tradeswomen group. Even though I'm a project manager, I felt the connection and wanted to have a stronger connection with my tradeswomen, and it's done a lot of wealth for myself. And I've been able to share the committee with other tradeswomen that aren't even necessarily a part of NAWIC yet, but are interested in what's going on, and they tune in and have had their voices heard, which is, one of the biggest things that we want when we're, doing things out of our own time. We want to be heard. And then, of course, WIC Week. We all know what WIC Week is, and the work that goes into it. This year was a very dynamic year with our theme, Together We Rise. It couldn't have been better. And I'm really excited to see what kind of awards come out of it at annual conference, because just the input of everything that people were engaged in is just amazing. Whether it's one event or several events. It all matters. It all matters in Women in Construction Week. So, Shauna, what's your thoughts?
I love it. I just love where, I think it's our 27th year we just completed. And to see where it started to where it's at now is I'm in awe, I think it's one of my favorite times. I agree to where it's like even if you're not a NAWIC member, to be able to go on to LinkedIn, to social media, I mean, I think I'm even getting chills just saying it because just to see all the empowering stories and the, recognizing not just, and I think it's also reaching out, even I've seen more men getting recognized by just their support and what they're doing to support us as women in construction. I think it's great, and unfortunately we have to have a week like this, but I think it's just I love celebrating. I'm a girl's girl, so what, yes, whenever we could celebrate each other, I don't think we do it enough. So I love it.
Yeah, so Casey had a question and said, can you go into more detail what WIC Week is? And
Oh,
it's Women in Construction Week. It is the first week in March. This week was started by NAWIC and is recognized throughout the country, not only in just NAWIC, but even within our employers and other supporters. What we do during this week is just really try to recognize the accomplishments of women, in our construction industry, highlight them, educate them, and share resources across the country and throughout the nation. Honestly, it falls over International Women's Day, which is very cool as well. But really, that's what it is, Casey. It is just providing that time where we collectively celebrate being a woman in construction. And for my chapter, we do several activities where we give accolades to our membership. We do an industry appreciation event. We also try to do something in our community this year, which we've been doing for a few years. We cooked for the guests over at the American Cancer Society Hope Lodge, and so it is just really a way to give focus to Women in Construction Week, and it gives our committees, something to strive by, work for, and then really celebrate and feel accomplished when the week happens. And it's just so cool to see that the wave that happens throughout the country from East Coast to West Coast, North to South. Shauna, any more input on WIC Week?
No, I just think it's, yeah, fabulous. I was just wondering if Casey, I just messaged you and was wondering, what area, because I noticed there was some people on the call that aren't NAWIC members. So at the end of this presentation, you'll have Jody and myself's email. So if you have any questions or want more information, because I know the one gal I was talking to, she learned about us through a WIC Week event. So exactly. So if you want any more information on NAWIC and how to get involved and where to, join, we're your team. So definitely shoot us an email and we will make sure we get you all the right information to join NAWIC, or if you have any other questions on whatever a committee is.
Thank you so much. That was great. I appreciate it.
Good. Thanks for being here, Casey.
Sure. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Shauna.
And
Thank you.
thank you. But we're not done quite yet. 2 more minutes.
Sorry.
Yeah, a couple more minutes.
I know.
Are you going to take task force, Shauna, or what would you like for me to do?
Oh,
Yeah.
this is always, I think, just coming on to NAWIC task force is probably not my favorite word, only because, it's like, I think more, I think that's where I lack my patience. It's like, no, I want to get it done now, especially when you have an idea and it's like, let's just go. But NAWIC, we love task force. But so in NAWIC world, you'll hear that a lot. What's the difference between a task force, and a committee. So basically, I just want to, I was just writing a couple things down where, our task force is basically like a temporary, committee, coming up with, a resource and working towards a goal. But, your committee is ongoing, it's structured, it could come up with recommendations. So that was just a little bit of tidbit, in NAWIC vocabulary. If somebody hears, well, let's create a task force. And then it's like, well, wait, we already have a committee. So that was that little verbiage and added slide for that. But yes, here is our contact information. Tony Osbury is actually my boss, my chair, and I'm underneath her. And so our information is all right there, as well as Jody's. I love working with Jody, and I can't thank you enough for really taking the time. And, I think it's special with NAWIC and the relationships that you build and the collaborations that we as women come together, because sometimes I think women, sometimes we can be our worst enemy. And I think just seeing, the support and the success, and, I appreciate you, Jody, because I think, since the day
Aw,
we met, running even against each other, we've become, sisters in NAWIC, and I, value that friendship moving forward.
ditto,
So
ditto.
please, chapter members or guests, as we say here, please reach out to us. If you need a membership application, I love that. I will send it to you right now. And shoot me an email anytime. I always say I'm available almost 24/7, because you can text me at 2 in the morning, and I sometimes will reply, but if not, I will get it. You are not waking me up. And I, I'm a very much, on contact person. So please, yeah, whatever tools we could get you guys to be successful in your chapter. If you need other kind of tools on anything, what's the role of a, director, or voting coming up? So yeah, we touched base on elections last month, but I know everybody's right now, working on the nominating committees and getting those situated in your chapters. So if you have any questions, please reach out.
Thank you so much, Shauna. This was fun.
Yeah, and I'm sending you, Casey, my email, right? Oh, well, in case you didn't have it, but on the computer. Um, but is there any questions while we have 2 more minutes?
I have so many questions. I'm gonna have to email you, I think.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I love that you guys found us, from a WIC Week event or just anything. I mean, it's nice having non-members on here.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yes, I actually found you guys through a friend of mine. I live in the DC area, but my friend lives in Texas, and so she told me about you guys, and so I saw this event and I thought I have to attend this for sure. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send you a ton of questions later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that is, and hopefully, this was, valuable to you, because a lot of it was
Absolutely.
geared to, we're thinking already, a NAWIC member, just explaining like the do's and don'ts of chapters, kind of information. So you got an inside information. So cool.
Yeah, this has been fantastic. I love this. This is great. Thank you so much for putting this on.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Savannah, for helping us out today. As always, I thank you guys enough, for taking the lead and helping us. So, with that, I hope everybody has a great day. Stay tuned for next month. Next month is going to be super, super good, very valuable, going over bylaws, your chapter policies, standing rules. That, don't forget your standing rules. Also, say how you choose to vote, not by electronic ballots. So, just wanted to throw that in there. So be sure to join us next month. They are usually on the fourth Wednesday of the month at 9 o'clock. so they don't change. So lock your calendar in for April 23rd. And I will see you then.
Bye, friends. See you.
Bye. See you.
Thank you. Bye.